Another way of looking at disability perspective, which was a grand word that was kind of hard for me, kind of difficult for me, was you want to look at a disability perspective as having a perspective of the child's disability. Knowing what your child's disability is and the parts that influence them the most about that disability. So adopting a disability perspective kind of gives that foundation for parenting your child. So if you really understand your child and their individual needs, then you know that there are circumstances that you might want to avoid or engage in to help keep the waters calm at home. So the disability perspective, the DP, as I will shorten it, will sometimes shape that parent's response to the child's symptoms of ADHD. For instance, my son Chris is very inflexible emotionally. Once he's on a hot button subject, something that really irritates him, that's a time for me to listen carefully, look at his facial expressions. Maybe a sense of anger is there and anxiousness on his, I see his anxiousness and maybe a sense of anger. And no matter what I'm going to say at that moment, it's going to influence his symptom of ADHD and his anger level at that moment. As a matter of fact, anything I say might even fuel it and make it worse. So that may be a time for me to shape my response by saying little or nothing, or just a uh-huh. Oh, I see. So knowing my son, that would be the case. Now my other son, Carrie, I could probably go ahead and just talk about the problem that's a hot button for him, and he might be able to be more flexible and listen, where Chris wouldn't. A disability perspective encourages the parent to be supportive, positive, and sensitive to their child with ADHD. And that's basically what I just mentioned. Knowing your child, their individual needs, will shape your response to what they're doing, their behavior or their symptoms. Okay, principles. Children with ADHD, these are the principles of disability perspective. They have a legitimate medical condition that undermines their ability to regulate their behavior. So if you firmly believe they have a legitimate medical condition, then your response will be equal to that. They have the same need or desire as other children to gain acceptance. They can improve their conduct with the assistance of effective parenting strategies and interventions. And that is true. And I'm here to tell you that from all my years of working with Chris. The more effective I was in my strategies, the better the conditions were at home. They should be expected to make gradual rather than rapid behavior progress, and they will respond more favorably to supportive, positive discipline strategies.